this is how to coach kids who aren't that serious. You simply teach to the upper third of the group. I have my drill plans in place. Those kids, maybe if they're not super intense in practice, just like a teacher, I wasn't the best student. She would stand over my shoulder and I would shape up, right? So I pull those kids right in front of me, and I spend a lot of time standing over the top of them and encouraging, never yelling, but sometimes saying, hey, now listen, you're at wrestling practice. Do you want to be here? Yeah. Well, then I would like you to give a little more effort. Now, I don't care if you win. I want you to win, but I can't win it more than you. So, why don't you look over there at Jonathan, and then you see how he drills. Or maybe you have girls in your room who are great wrestlers. You say, look at Faith. Look how hard she drills. That's what I want out of you. Don't you think that would be the best way to work? And they'll go, yes. And say, do you think that your parents would want you to work like that? Yes. Say, okay, now I'm not gonna babysit you. I'm just encouraging you. I want to help you, but I also want you to help yourself. How's that sound? And they say, okay, yeah, I got it. And they're probably gonna regress, and you maybe do that once every practice, once every other practice, and you nudge them along, and then you always look for opportunities where you catch them doing great. You might even say, hey, Time, everyone look in here, and this kid, little Joey, the kid that doesn't work usually very hard, watch how Joey drills. He's looking fantastic. He's changing his game. And you start to build him up that way, But I would never, I don't slow practice down. I have a practice plan in place, and everyone keeps up, and I make sure that they keep up. The only ones who don't maybe are the ones who really, are still kind of struggling, but, they'll come around, right? So, you can't say, I'm going to make you successful if it kills me. That's our instincts, right? We're all pretty compassionate. So I go to some camps, and the other coaches are helping, and as like one dad will stand over two kids who just struggle. And sometimes they struggle because it just doesn't make sense. And you want to stand over them a little bit, then walk away. If you spoon feed a baby, that baby will need spoon feeding until he's 3 or 4 years old. So if you spoon feed them, they will require spoon feeding. So if the kids just struggle with a sport, help them out and walk away and say, you got to own this, right? And if they struggle like with work ethic, you could say, and maybe aren't super serious, you got to be okay with letting the 50% do 50 and let the 80%ers do 80. And, we get excited about the 100%ers out there. But as far as those 30%ers and 50%ers, the advice I mentioned earlier, that's probably the best way to handle it. And, anybody who's just crazy disruptive, well, then those kids, you just have to say, you know what? You're going to sit. Every time you're disruptive, I'm going to have you sit for 5 minutes. And we're just going to kind of go that route, And that way, eventually, then you say, well, you know what? The third time you're going to sit for 10. Well, now you're going to sit out for 30 minutes, And obviously, some kids just don't want to be there. And from a high school coaching standpoint or youth or something, you got to be cool, right? You got a 6-year-old. Dude, leave that kid alone, right? He's not... You get a 14-year-old who's disruptive. They know better. So you got to have a longer leash and pick your battles with the younger kids. And but as far as the high school kids, obviously I'm not going to sit here and say that there aren't kids that don't need to be cut loose, But what I do when I was a high school coach, I was like, I don't kick you off the team, you kick yourself off, but you can earn your way back on. So I had a list of things where they earn the way back on. That way it's totally on them, and they don't get stuck in the victim mindset. There's some tips. Good luck.